These are the biggest and most feared hackers in the world. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video to see more of CRIMENINE. Kevin Mitnick, a pivotal figure in American hacking history, began as a teenager. He was charged with stealing computer manuals from Pacific Bell in 1981. He hacked into the North American Defense Command in 1982, laying the stage for the 1983 film War Games. He hacked into the network of Digital Equipment Corporation in 1989 and stole their software. Mitnick's move put him on the map because DC was a leading computer manufacturer at the time. He was eventually captured, convicted, and imprisoned. He hacked Pacific Bell's voicemail systems while on parole. Mitnick did not abuse the access and data he got during his hacking activities. While many believe Mitnick had complete control of the Pacific Bell network at one time, he did not wish to take advantage of the situation. He simply wanted to show that the system could be hacked. A warrant was issued for his arrest in connection with the Pacific Bell incident, but he escaped and went into hiding for more than 2 years. Anonymous was born in 2003 on an unnamed bulletin board on the website 4chan. This organization has limited structure and is only loosely focused on the concept of social justice. In 2008, the group filed a lawsuit against the Church of Scientology and began taking down Scientology websites, which had a detrimental influence on Scientology search results in Google. Furthermore, the church's fax machines were inundated with black images. Protests were held at Scientology locations around the world in March 2008. The Protestants were all dressed in the now famous Guy Fawkes mask. According to The New Yorker, the FBI and other law enforcement organizations have tracked down the more active members of Anonymous. But the lack of hierarchy inside the group makes it nearly hard to entirely dismantle Anonymous. Adrian Lamo, then 20, used an unprotected content management tool at Yahoo in 2001 to modify a Reuters article and incorrectly credit a statement to U.S. Attorney General John Ashcroft. Lamo frequently hacked into networks and then alerted both the press and his victims. In some cases, he also assisted in cleaning up the mayhem he had made by upgrading his victims' security. Lamo went too far in 2002, according to Wired, when he hacked into the New York Times internal network, added himself to a list of specialists, and initiated inquiries into well-known public people. Lamo was dubbed the homeless hacker because he walked the streets with nothing more than a bag and frequently. Gonzalez, also referred to Soup Nazi, began his hacking career as a troubled leader of a group of computer nerds at his Miami high school, according to the New York Daily News. He eventually joined the illicit commerce site shadowcrew.com, where he was regarded as one of the top hackers and moderators. Gonzalez was jailed in New York at the age of 22 for ATM card fraud, which was linked to the theft of millions of accounts. To avoid prison, he became an informant for the Secret Service and assisted in the indictment of scores of Shadow Crew members. Gonzalez continued his criminal operations as a paid informant, stealing more than 180 million accounts from firms such as Office Max, Dave & Buster's, and Boston Market. Gonzalez's 2005 attack on U.S. retail giant TJX was the first serious credit information hack, according to the New York Times Magazine. This well-known hacker and his gang used SQL injection to construct backdoors into many corporate networks, stealing an estimated $256 million from TJX alone. At Gonzalez's 2015 sentencing, the federal prosecutor called Gonzalez's conduct unprecedented in terms of the number of casualties. In 1996, British hackers Matthew Bevan and Richard Price hacked into numerous military networks, including Griffiths Air Force Base, the Defense Information System Agency, and the Korean Atomic Research Institute, KARI. When Bevan, Kuji, and Price, DataStream Cowboy, poured KARI research into a U.S. military system, they were accused of almost initiating World War III. Bevan claims he was looking for evidence to support a UFO conspiracy idea. According to the BBC, his situation is remarkably similar to Gary McKinnon's. Bevan and Price demonstrated that even military networks are vulnerable, whether malicious or not. Matthew Bevan and Richard Price are British hackers who hacked into multiple military networks in 1996, including Griffiths Air Force Base, the Defense Information System Agency, and the Korean Atomic Research Institute, KARI. Bevan, Kuji, and Price, DataStream Cowboy, were accused of almost causing World War III when they dumped CRIMENINE research into a U.S. military system. Bevan claims he wanted to prove a UFO conspiracy theory. According to the BBC, his case is very similar to that of Gary McKinnon. Malicious or not, Bevan and Price showed that even military networks are vulnerable. Jensen James Ancheta had no interest in hacking into credit card systems or damaging networks for the purpose of social justice. Ancheta was fascinated by bots, which are software-related robots that may infect and eventually control computer systems. In 2005, he used a series of large-scale botnets to breach the security of over 400,000 machines. He then rented these PCs to advertising organizations and was paid to install bots or adware directly on certain systems, according to Ars Technica. Ancheta was sentenced to 57 months in prison, making him the first hacker to be imprisoned for employing botnet technology. In February 2000, 15-year-old Michael Calci, Mafia Boy, learned how to take control networks of university computers and utilize their combined capacity to damage the #1 search engine at the time, Yahoo. Within a week, he also drove Dell, eBay, CNN, and Amazon to their knees with a DDoS attack that overwhelmed corporate servers and crashed websites. Calci's activities were most likely the most distressing for investors and online activists. Was internet data safe at all if the world's largest website, believed to be worth more than $1 billion, could be so simply shut down? Because of the Calci breach, the establishment of cybercrime legislation has suddenly become a key priority. Polson, Dark Dante, then 17, hacked ARPANET, the Pentagon's computer network, in 1983, but was quickly apprehended. Because Polson was a minor at the time of the hack, the government decided not to charge him. He only received a warning. Polson did not learn from his error and continued hacking. Polson acquired access to papers about deposed Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos after hacking into a federal computer in 1988. Polson fled into hiding when the authorities discovered this. Polson also stayed active while on the run, hacking government files and leaking secrets. In 1990, he hacked into a radio station's contest to be the 102nd caller to win a brand new Porsche, a vacation, and $20,000. Polson was soon arrested and banned from using a computer for 3 years. He has since emerged as a serious journalist writing about computer security as a senior editor at Wired. Jonathan James hacked multiple companies as comrade. According to the New York Times, he rose to prominence by successfully hacking into the computers of the United States Department of Defense. And it's even more astounding given that he was only 15 years old at the time. In an interview with PC Mag, James stated that the book The Cuckoo's Egg, which is about the hunt for a computer hacker, inspired him in part. He obtained almost 3,000 messages from government personnel, as well as usernames, passwords, and other critical information. In the year 2000, James was arrested and sentenced to 6 months of home arrest. He was not permitted to use computers for leisure purposes. He was sentenced to 6 months in prison for violating the terms of his probation. Jonathan James was found guilty of breaking cybercrime statutes at the age of 16. TJX, a department shop, was hacked in 2007, revealing the personal information of numerous consumers. Despite a lack of evidence, authorities suspected James of being involved in the hack. In 2008, Jonathan James committed suicide. "I have no faith in the justice system," James said in his suicide note, according to the Daily Mail. Perhaps this letter and my actions today send a more powerful message to the outside world. Anyway, I'm in charge of getting out of this predicament, and this is the only way to do so. This hacker differs from the others on this list in that his identity is unknown to the public. According to the Register, some details about Astra have been revealed, including the fact that he was jailed by police in 2008 and that he is a 58-year-old Greek mathematician. He had allegedly been hacking the Dassault Group for nearly 5 years. During that period, he stole advanced weapons technology and data, which he then sold to 250 people from all around the world. Dassault Group suffered $360 million in losses as a result of his breach. Nobody knows why his full identity hasn't been revealed, although Astra is a Sanskrit word for weapon.